kind of reckless.
Now, basically, we're not really. That's right.
Oh.
60 seconds. That's what I, yeah.
Brooklyn wants to. Yes.
Snapchat.
Oh, yes.
I just want There it is, right here.
Hey, Joey.
Let me figure out.
What would you think if we hit us right here, and then that way everyone can see us?
The only thing with this is you have your fans in the clip.
What?
You got a packed house, you got your fans in it. That's a good thing. And there are going to be eyes on you.
Nobody's saying
Correct. Oh, yeah. And yours? Like that. Yours. Yeah.
Okay, do me a favor, would you? Just hold this hand between them. Do the same thing on these ones. I haven't heard from you. I'm working on it. Oh, that's a problem.
What you got?
You know what we didn't do?
What's up?
Bluetooth.
Hook her up.
Santa's, man. It's so awesome.
And he does an awesome job, too. He does so good. You turn that mic on, he turns into somebody on TV.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Hey, can you help me out for a second? I don't remember how to add the Roadcaster. No, I've got it on Bluetooth here. Show Bluetooth devices, Roadcaster pair. Oh, yeah, Bluetooth. It's not. It's blinking though, it didn't blink yet.
No, it's trying to connect with you.
Oh,
coming to you live from the Roscoe's Coffee Bar and Tap Room, the first ever edition of the Brendan Evans Show, right here live on DTV, streaming on BTV Live, and also on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, The Brendan Evans Show. Here joining me tonight for the first ever edition, Coach Trevon Cordova, one of the coaches for the Richmond Red Devils. You're a quarterback coach, right?
Yep, defensive backs. Coach defensive backs over at Richmond High School here in town, as well as teach over at Dennis Middle School, 7th and 8th grade. So, yeah, try to stay involved around town a little bit.
That's awesome, man.
Had a pleasure coaching you as well, man. Seeing you grow up.
Man, I was about to say, we go way back, all the way back to 8th grade. I know that's just a number to some people, but that's about 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, those years added up. I know. I got a few more grades. You know what I mean?
I only coached a couple of them. Only coached a couple of them.
Yeah.
Man, it's a huge show here. Again, first ever edition right here at Roscoe's Coffee Bar and Tap Room. This is going to be exciting. We have a full packed house here behind us with all of the people that were able to come in, be in person. So this is going to be huge. One of the biggest topics we're going to talk about Tom Brady. We're going to talk about the Pro Bowl this weekend. Tyler Huntley replacing Josh Allen, probably the most noticeable person in the Pro Bowl, and in my opinion, probably not the biggest person that deserved it either. And we'll talk a little bit about that more coming up a little bit later on. But first, I want to talk about Tom Brady. Now, Tom Brady is more than just a quarterback. Coming in, he was drafted, late in the draft. Bill Belichick saw something in Tom Brady that nobody else saw. And to be completely honest, nobody saw where he was going to go.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could have projected the outcome of his career. He's the GOAT for a reason. He's got multiple championships, multiple MVPs, and the list goes on. Over 100,000 yards in his career passing-wise, including the playoffs. It's just absolutely nuts.
Okay. Back here live with the Brendan Evans Show from Roscoe's.
Oh, yeah, returning back.
Roscoe's Coffee Bar and Tap Room. Extremely appreciative to them to loan us out the space to be able to do this tonight.
Yeah,
Got a
shout out
packed
to
back room. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful atmosphere, man. It's pretty cool, man. Pretty awesome. They got a bar on one side, they got a coffee house on the other. A lot of accessibility for people to be able to come over here and do what we're doing today. I'm extremely, as a
Absolutely.
coach, extremely proud of what Brennan is bringing to the people, man. This is really awesome.
Well, I appreciate it, man. But back to what we were kind of talking about with
GOAT.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
We were talking a little bit about him, coming through the draft process with Bill Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's seen that terrible draft picture where he's standing next to the thing.
Didn't look like an athlete, right?
And Coach Abe Toffee, when he was back in Richmond a few years ago, my freshman year, he would always tell us that he was nothing more than a hair model. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
But
Right.
But to think that
Shout out
that
Coach
guy.
Toffee.
That guy in the picture has come so far.
Absolutely.
It's hard to believe.
Absolutely.
It really is. And not just as a player, but as a person.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I don't think anyone liked him while he was in New England. But once he came to Tampa Bay, he seems like more of a personable guy.
Yeah.
Someone that you would want to see come out to, Roscoe. Someone you wouldn't mind having a beer with here at the table.
Absolutely. I think a lot of it also just he broke away from that system out there in New England. It was just strictly football. And I believe him going to Tampa, just like you said, just gave him the opportunity to kind of really show who he truly is. So.
Right, absolutely. And you mentioned he has over 100,000 passing yards in his career, which is crazy until you realize that, a lot of these people haven't done that. You got the other quarterback in the GOAT debate, Joe Montana.
Mm-hmm. Joe Montana.
He's passed him in yards, touchdown, receptions. There's so many more stats now that they keep track of that they didn't keep track of before.
Yep.
But it is absolutely insane to see how far Tom Brady has come. Now, as a Steelers fan, he has absolutely broken my heart more times than I can count.
As a Ravens fan, he's done the same to me as well. Yeah.
So, as a Steelers fan, he has broken my heart more times than I could possibly count. I think we've only beaten Tom Brady 4 times in his entire career. And one of those biggest times was Ben Roethlisberger back as a rookie. At that point in time, was the first rookie to ever beat Tom Brady.
Oh, yeah, that's huge. That's really huge. Big Ben, too, man. A lot of battles between those guys in the AFC. Big Ben and Peyton Manning. There was the Ravens, my guy, who was in the mix a little bit, but it always seemed like Tom would be the guy to come on top.
Right. And it's funny you mentioned those guys. That's something else I wanted to bring up. Is some of these guys being gone and retiring at this point, it feels like the end of an era. It really does. Ben's gone, Brady's gone, both Manning brothers are gone, Breeze is gone, Phillip Rivers is gone. All these guys are gone. And it's like Joe Flacco is barely hanging in there in New York right now. I don't even know if they're going to extend his contract. I probably wouldn't, but it's crazy.
Yeah, it is, man. As hard as it is to admit, man, I love Tom Brady even though I hate him, man. He's kept my personal team, he's kept my favorite team from reaching the championship so many times, so many years. It's gut-wrenching, but to be able to see this guy be able to do it consistently on, it's not an easy sport. It's very taxing on the body. And Tom Brady's a guy who puts, I'm sure at least $1 million into his body a year, which is at least, giving him the ability to, play as long as he has. But not only to just play, these guys, been able to be backup quarterbacks and sit the bench and still collect checks. But Tom, he's done it at a high level. So let me ask you, do you think it's official? Do you think he's really gone, or?
Man, I can't believe he came back last year after that stunt he pulled. I can't believe that he actually decided to come back. I don't think that he'll come back this time because when he did come back, it was terrible, god-awful.
Yeah.
Probably one of the worst years of his career. At least he made the playoffs, lost in the first round, but in New England, this last year, New England didn't even make the playoffs, so a little bit of improvement there from the last year with the team, but
the expectation that Tom has, he's a perfectionist, takes care of his body, he doesn't, put bad things in his body. He's obviously cost him, and off the field things with his marriage, but he's dedicated to the game, so I feel like the guy, even making the playoffs with Tom Brady, just isn't enough.
Right. And, you know, a guy that's won 7 championships, more championships on his own than any other team in the NFL, which is huge.
That's wild.
You know, 6 with one team. You know, he didn't stick around with the same team his entire career. You know, Robert Kraft is working on getting him back at least with a
retire
one-day
as a
contract,
Patriot.
retire as a
That would be
Patriot.
the right thing to do, I feel.
Right, absolutely. Which would be awesome to be able to see, you know, after all the years that he spent in New England, you know, all the championships he won, 6 of them down in up in New England, which would be in Gillette Stadium there under the direction of Bill Belichick. But flipping pages over to Tampa, just look at the last season. You know, Bruce Arians was gone, went through a divorce, probably one of the worst seasons he's had stat-wise in a long time. You know, a lot has happened for Tom Brady this year, and he still made the playoffs.
Yeah, he did. And I think, you know, this year's probably also just him kind of padding some of the stats, too, making those what probably already are impossible feats even more impossible for, you know, these younger generation guys, Mahomes and some of these other guys that I know we spoke of, you know, Allen and you know, a lot of these great young talented quarterbacks are coming up, man. It would be really hard to believe that anybody would ever be able to match that type of career or even surpass the type of career that Tom Brady's had.
Absolutely, man. And it's crazy. Like, look at Ben Roethlisberger, one of the greatest quarterbacks of our generation, you know, right up there with Peyton Manning, Eli Manning. You know, when you hear 2 Super Bowls, that sounds like a lot. And then you look at Tom Brady, and he's got 2 handful of rings.
2 handfuls, right. 2 Super Bowls or 2 handfuls, what would you pick, right?
Right. So this, it really puts into perspective for me of how great Tom Brady really is. And I can't even say was yet because, I mean, he is still an athlete.
Yeah,
look at him, like you mentioned that he probably puts in at least $1 million into his body a year. But look at his diet, how much work he puts in for that. You know, it's as strict as, you know, eating avocado ice cream and stuff like that. The Pat McAfee show mentions that all the time.
I don't think he's ever drank coffee either, if I'm not mistaken.
I remember him saying that at one point.
I'm having coffee right now, so yeah.
Right.
But yeah, man. It's I know again, you know, I know we spoke about Ben Roethlisberger and some of these guys, and with the removal of Tom Brady, it is kind of whether you love him or hate him, it completely changes the game because it's something that, you know, some of these younger kids nowadays, you guys some of them just don't know what it's like to be able to see this guy come in every playoffs and just really just break other fans' hearts. You know? So, it's definitely going to be sad without seeing him in the game, but it does pave, you know, a way for a lot of these other guys to kind of step in.
Right. I think I've seen a post somewhere on Facebook that said everybody's chances of winning a Super Bowl just went up at least 25%. So, you know, Kenny Pickett, that just went right in there.
Right. Yeah, Kenny Pickett, yeah, I get that.
Well, we want to thank you guys once again for turning into the Brendan Evans Show live here from Roscoe's Coffee Bar and Tap Room right here in Richmond, Indiana. We're going to take a quick break, but we do have lots of more topics to talk about. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be back here, right here in just a moment. You're watching the Brendan Evans Show right here streaming on ZTV.
It's Logan Paul and yeah, Jake, but Logan's is it Logan's brand? It's there's another guy. It's another like KIS or
I hit those today.
This is Corky Miller, and you're listening to the Brendan Evans Show on ZTV.
Back here on the Brendan Evans Show live, Coach Trevon Cordova, alongside Brendan Evans right here from Roscoe's Coffee Bar and Tap Room. Again, super appreciative of them being able to give us the location for the night, giving us this back room, letting us come in, do a lot of work here. Super exciting, great place to be. Really excited here. Got a full packed house behind us of all the people that were able to come in attendance. Again, you guys can come in attendance next week as well. We'll be doing another show awesome. Saturday night. Hoping to get it from Roscoe's. Haven't got the official word yet, but we're hopeful on that one. Kind of flip pages a little bit. I know we talked quite a bit about the AFC North quarterbacks. We mentioned Kenny Pickett. We mentioned Huntley. We mentioned Joe Flacco there a little bit. Really quick,
Big Ben, all these guys.
I want to talk about Huntley. Huntley, we found out this week, is replacing Josh Allen in the Pro Bowl, and I'm not saying this just because I'm a Steelers fan and the Ravens are absolute garbage, but Huntley does not belong in the Pro Bowl if you ask me.
Well, Huntley is the closest thing to Lamar Jackson, and a Pro Bowl without Lamar Jackson or some player kind of similar to him wouldn't just be a Pro Bowl at all. So they had to squeeze Huntley in there above all these other guys, all these other AFC bums.
Well, if we're being completely honest, the Pro Bowl isn't the Pro Bowl anymore either.
The Pro Bowl's not the Pro Bowl anymore.
Football game,
right.
When I want to see football. I remember when there was a fake punt, the AFC did a fake punt, and a punter came around on the near side of the sideline. Sean Taylor came in and absolutely blew him up.
I don't know what that punter was thinking, trying to stay in bounds. Right?
Man, that's what we want to see in the Pro Bowl. We don't want to see some flag football game.
Absolutely, you got the best of the best for both conferences going head to head. And you definitely want to see, it's like just a superpowered team versus another superpowered team. You always wonder, man, what would this outcome be if these guys, gave it their all and played their hardest. But the reality is the amount of money that the players get paid today, these teams, they make so much of a financial investment into these players, as well as, these guys, as we spoke about Tom Brady earlier, having to take care of their body. I don't think guys are willing to sacrifice, laying it all out or putting it all on the line for pretty much an exhibition game. It's a little sad to say. Yes, from the viewer standpoint, we'd love to see these guys going, 100%. But I get why they wouldn't. But it does. It makes for a very painful game to watch when these guys are just kind of like, wrapping up or, two-hand touch and so.
Right, and to kind of piggyback off of what you said, the NFL is a business at the end of the day. If you can't make money running a business, you're doing it wrong. So I completely understand, protecting your investments. I was just talking with someone earlier today about something like that along those lines. But at some point, you got to think, what are we even doing here?
Right.
Because we're talking about the big money guys, right? Mm-hmm. Josh Allen brings in a lot of money, one of the best quarterbacks in the AFC and the NFL as a whole, if we're being completely honest. So we're taking him out of the Pro Bowl, and we're putting a backup quarterback
who's only started 2 games in the regular season, if I'm not mistaken.
So I have a little bit of stats here, and we'll get to this here in just a second, because I've got some comparison stats that I want to see if you can figure out who it is before I tell you who it is.
All right.
Because the other person is not in the Pro Bowl, but let's be completely honest, he probably should be.
Okay.
Right. So we're going to go to that here in just a second. So Huntley did start 5 games.
Okay.
So Lamar Jackson was hurt, including that 4th game. He was 2-3 through all of those. Obviously, that heartbreaking loss to the Cincinnati Bengals that the Ravens probably should have had, but they fumbled the ball right there on the fumbled the ball on the 1-yard line, and they ran it back 99 yards to the touchdown. Man, it didn't even seem like it was on the 1-yard line. When they came back, they showed that replay. Man, that ball was punched out. It looked like it was punched out at the 3.5-yard line. Man, wasn't even close to the goal line. What is a quarterback doing jumping over people?
Yeah, but now that that same guy who fumbled that ball, he's got himself a Pro Bowl spot. So I don't know what's going on in the world today.
Pro Bowl spot.
Right. So let me ask this as well. With the modifications that they're making to the Pro Bowl, they have the Pro Bowl games. So there's a series of games: tic-tac-toe, precision passing, best hands competitions, dodgeball. They're tossing water balloons around and things. Do you feel like this makes it easier for the viewers, or is this something that you're looking forward to watching as well?
I don't think it would be anything that I'd be interested in watching live. Now, if I'm bored and I'm just looking for something to throw on in the background, sure, I'm going to watch Saquon Barkley's comeback in a dodgeball game that happened today or yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? So I am not going to sit here and I'm not going to work, right? I don't feel like I'm going to work wearing my Saquon Barkley jersey. I'm not getting excited. I'm not getting hyped up because Saquon Barkley is playing dodgeball tonight on national television. Like, I don't even think it's on any major broadcast. I think it's on like ESPN,
maybe the NFL Network,
ESPN2 maybe.
ESPN the Ocho.
But man, I don't think it's bad that they're doing this for the players. I think it's great that they're getting out there. They're doing something. Right?
Yeah, some camaraderie. Those guys get to they get to hang out, spend some time together. Relax.
Right, and a lot of these players, especially if, once someone gets traded or someone gets released and they sign with someone else in free agency or something like that, they could very well still have a good relationship with people from that last team.
Yeah, very true.
Tom Brady is still probably going to go up and dab up with Bill Belichick before the game. Des Bryant, when he was, with Baltimore, when they played Dallas, before he got pulled out of pregame with COVID.
Yeah, right.
He was still going over there. He was still dabbing up Jason Witten and all these other guys. Like, that is something that is big in the NFL.
Yeah, it's bigger than football.
The jersey swap thing.
Absolutely.
It's way bigger than football.
Way bigger than football.
So you're really taking that aspect and you're giving it to them, but at the same time you're kind of taking it away, though, too, because nobody wants to see this. You're taking away something that people kind of look forward to. It's a week without football, really.
Yeah.
So you're giving that as like a place filler, kind of. But people are not going to tune in to watch a flag football game with a bunch of overpaid people at that point. That's all it is. I mean, if I want to see flag football, they've got flag leagues out at, out at the fairgrounds.
The fairgrounds here, yeah. The fairgrounds here in town. That's actually pretty competitive, man. Yeah, it's actually really competitive. But yeah, if I'm being honest, I know there's some people that play professional flag that they have all these different techniques and moves and plays and things that honestly would probably be a lot more interesting to watch than professional athletes, unless they got a bunch of defensive and offensive linemen out there playing receiver and catching the ball, and got quarterbacks rushing the passer or something along those lines. I think it would be pretty interesting to watch.
Right, and that's something that I would like to see during Pro Bowl week, right?
Yeah.
Like I know back when I was playing football with you guys again, back in freshman year when Coach Abe was there and everything, we all once a week or something like that, we always did big man football.
Yeah,
so them skinny guys were invited to come join, but I tell you what, Sean Alexander was hopping around on one leg on that field. You weren't allowed to touch the ball if you didn't.
Yeah, that's very true, man. That's very true. It used to get really competitive, man. We used to find out some of you guys actually had some hands. Some of you big guys, man. It was really interesting to watch. Watch you guys. So yeah, I would say though with the flag football league, the flag football Pro Bowl game, I would still be worried that some of these professional athletes could still get hurt.
Right. And we've seen that a lot this year on turf as well.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true.
A lot of players are starting to come up against turf. Now, Pittsburgh's got a grass field, so I haven't heard much about it, from my team specifically, but, up in Baltimore, I believe it was Giants Field, up in MetLife Stadium, somebody got hurt there just running an out route.
Receiver. I believe it was Sterling.
Sterling Shepard.
Yep,
I believe.
Yep, if I'm not mistaken.
We may be wrong on that one. I'm not sure. So somebody will have to drop a comment to let us know for sure.
Yeah.
But people are getting hurt just running on turf. It's becoming dangerous.
Yeah.
So a lot of players are wanting to resort back to grass. But then again, it comes back into the investment side of things. You're spending way more money maintaining grass.
Yep.
You've got to grow it. You've got to paint it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's where it comes back in again. Are you protecting your investment, or are you investing somewhere else? So,
in the grand scheme of things, if you got a $200 million quarterback, you're probably protecting your investment. But some of these stadiums like out in Lambeau, they got a system where they heat the field underneath the actual grass itself, and I could only imagine how much it costs to really run that. I know some of the places like Las Vegas, I believe they have a retractable field, so they can alternate between turf and grass, which obviously provides more resources for teams, but they still got to take care of the grass.
Right. Kind of the way they run basketball courts, but you don't run into that issue there. You can just pull them up and go. But a lot of these places are literally rolling up grass, replacing sod and everything like that, and it becomes time-consuming. It becomes a hassle. Pittsburgh right now, they're using Heinz Field, Acrisure Stadium now, but Heinz Field.
It's no longer Heinz.
It'll always be Heinz to me. I'm just being honest with you.
No, that's all right.
But they're rolling up grass, and they're literally changing the field all the time. So there's two different sets of hash marks. We're not even painting the end zones because I don't know if you've noticed this before.
Play there as well, right? Is that right? Yeah.
Pitt football. So they come in. One of our end zones are just slashes all the way across. It looks ridiculous. So I can't really complain about all these other fields, but at what point do you kind of realize, hey, these are our multi-million-dollar investments. This is my $200 million quarterback. He's getting hurt running on turf. When do we switch back to grass?
Yeah. I don't know. I know there's been some outpour from some professional players right now, speaking on that. So I'm interested to see how that starts to develop over the next few years.
Right. So really quick, I want to get back to the topic that we were on. Yep. So we're talking a little bit about Tyler Huntley and this mystery quarterback that I haven't told you who it is yet. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. So we've got Tyler Huntley here on the left side, and I'll show you the full graphic here in just a moment. I got you right here. So each of them got 5 games as a starter. Huntley has 2-3 record, 2 touchdowns for 3 interceptions, 658 passing yards, 7 sacks, 77.2 QBR. Doesn't sound terrible until you get to this other guy. So 5 games, 3-2 record, pretty similar. 12 touchdowns for 6 interceptions, which isn't great, but it isn't terrible either because the only thing I'll tell you is this guy isn't necessarily a starter all the time either. So, and then you look, 2,608 passing yards.
In 5 games.
In 5 games.
Wow.
He has given up 24 sacks, but he does have a QBR of 88.9. Over 10 points on the QBR rating from quarterback 1 to quarterback 2. So where I'm coming from is before you find out who the second quarterback is, and I'll show the full graphic here in just a second, before you find out who the second quarterback is, how are you putting Huntley in the Pro Bowl before QB2
That's
here?
a really good question. That's a really, really good question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe there was an invitation extended to some of these guys, and for whatever reason they just weren't interested in playing, or maybe dropping out. I would have to do a little bit more research on that end. But this guy right here, the stat line that we're looking at, 12 touchdowns to Huntley's 2. Yeah, I would hope they give him a call first before they gave Huntley a call. Even though I'm a diehard Ravens fan, fair is fair, and this guy put in the work. Obviously, probably to deserve this spot over Huntley. But.
Right. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring up the full graphic here in just a second, but I'm also going to remind you that this show is about a bunch of quarterbacks in the AFC North that really don't matter. It was Jacoby Brissett.
Wow, Jacoby Brissett, another AFC North quarterback.
Yeah,
right.
if you watched him kind of go through the season and everything, you really don't realize that he was this good until you see it on paper. He was way better than Huntley, started the same amount of games, had almost double all the other records. Why is he not in the Pro Bowl?
I'm not sure, man. I got a lot of respect for Brissett, too. I know he had a stint here in Indianapolis, and he's just been a really stand-up guy. I know he's a great guy in the locker room. A lot of his teammates and a lot of the players really gravitate towards him. I did see something where he posted, his appreciation for Cleveland and everything that, opportunities they gave to him, because, he's a journeyman. It doesn't seem like he really stays in one place long. But, yeah, if that was the case, Brissett, I hate to say I'm happy to say it. Brissett obviously deserves the spot over Huntley.
Oh, 100%, and I completely agree with you, but here's the problem that you kind of run into. Where was the invitation? Because from what I had read, the research that I seen, the NFL reached out to Huntley first, and he obviously accepted. Yeah. I mean, if you're invited to something like that in the Pro Bowl at the caliber of what the NFL is, you're not going to decline an offer from something like that. No matter who you are, whether you think you deserve it or not, you're going to accept that offer.
Absolutely.
There ain't no way you don't.
Absolutely. Because for the rest of his life, Tyler Huntley will be able to say, I'm an all-pro quarterback or, all-star quarterback, whatever the case may be.
Well, even with Tom Brady, when he retired, when you see his stat line come across, I can't remember the exact number, but you see seven-time Super Bowl champ, 13-time all-pro quarterback. Yeah. Right, in his 18-year career, whatever it was. I'd have to go back and look at the exact number. But I just don't understand where the connection's at here, man.
It's kind of tough, man.
It's so back and forth.
Jacoby kind of got snubbed on that. A lot of guys have been getting snubbed in a lot of different. I know in the NBA they're kind of screaming the same thing. So.
Right, man. Well, really quick, we're going to go ahead and take a break here for just a moment. We'll be back. We'll talk about Sean Payton coming to the Denver Broncos from the New Orleans Saints after taking a year or two hiatus. We'll also talk a little bit, as you guys seen in that clip there, Logan Paul's Prime energy drink or sports drink or whatever you want to call it is now the official drink of the UFC.
That's wild.
He is making some huge moves.
He really
Logan
is.
Paul is awesome.
Yeah.
And he just had a match for the WWE Championship against Roman Reigns back
did
at
he
SummerSlam.
really? Oh, okay. Wow, I didn't know that.
Man, he put on an absolute clinic.
Did he? Did he really?
It
did
was
he
awesome.
win it?
No, he didn't win it.
Okay.
He didn't win it. I don't know. In a position as the WWE is in, can you really put your mainstream title on someone? And again, this comes back to protecting your investment.
Yeah.
He's a part-timer.
Right.
Let's not remember that. He's a part-timer. How can you put a belt on a part-timer and be okay with that?
Yeah.
You're going to lose a ton of viewers for that.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll be right back. Brendan Evans Show right here live from Roscoe's Coffee Bar and Tap Room. We'll be right back. You're watching The Brendan Evans Show on ZTVOnline.com, streaming live on local BTV.
This is David Bell, manager of the Reds, and you're listening to the Brendan Evans Show on ZTV.
Back here live from Roscoe's Coffee Bar and Tap Room, Brendan Evans alongside Trevon Cordova. I want to thank you again for joining us.
Yeah,
Everyone
man.
here live, been great. It's been exciting. I've had a few
awesome
people
day,
yelling the show name behind us, the Brendan Evans Show, cheering and everything. It's been awesome, man.
This is
Kind of
awesome.
distracting, but I ain't going to blame them yet.
Yeah, there we go. That's
Hey.
what you want, though, man.
That's right. Hey, I want to talk just a second, a little bit about kind of what we got going on, for at least from what we're seeing, right? So we don't know too much about, Logan Paul as a person, but Prime becoming the official sports drink of the UFC, that's huge. That's
huge,
a multi-million-dollar
man.
business.
That's huge. Just also does go to show just how much is how marketable those guys are. He and his brother, and just the opportunities that these guys are taking advantage of to be the official drink of the UFC. That is major.
Right, man. And I'm looking at it right now. 16-ounce, 12-pack is running for $49.99 on Walmart right now.
A 12-pack for $50? What?
Now that might be shipping costs there, but
still, nonetheless,
but they're running decently. They just had an episode of their podcast, Impulsive. They call it the best podcast in the world. Obviously, that is the Brendan Evans Show.
Yeah.
So not hating on them too much, but so they had Kevin O'Leary from the Shark Tank, Mr. Wonderful, Chef Wonderful, whatever you want to call him. They had him there live, tasted the Prime Sports drink, Prime Energy drink, whatever what it is. And he actually liked it. We only got it's only got 2 grams of sugar, if that, and it doesn't have that bitter aftertaste. It's actually pretty good.
Really?
So I can completely understand why UFC would want to jump on the Logan Paul bandwagon.
So if I'm not mistaken, I know me personally, I've gone to a gas station and I saw these as well. I'm a big, huge Deion Sanders fan. He goes by Prime Time and Coach Prime. So when I very first saw and heard of these drinks, I thought it was something that had to do with Deion Sanders. And I came across and I was like, maybe I'll try one. I opened up the door and I grabbed it and I was like, oh, it's coconut water. I was like, oh man, I can't do coconut water. I'm not sure. I'm not a fan. And I put it back, but you're telling me that it's actually pretty amazing. I might have to.
It's really good. Have you ever tried the Body Armor drinks?
Yeah.
So that's coconut water too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's like 90-some% coconut water.
Wow,
It's actually really good.
I've been lying to myself this whole time, man. I'm going to have to try it then, man.
It's that placebo effect. Man.
Yeah, it is the placebo effect. You're absolutely convincing me right now.
But looking at it, man, it's only 20 calories for a 16-ounce bottle, only 2 grams of sugar, 8 total carbs, which is huge because I'm a type 2 diabetic. Carbs is the big thing you got to watch.
Yeah, my fiance's on the keto diet. She watches her carbs as well. So, yeah, that's actually pretty beneficial.
I don't know if I could do that keto diet. Props to her, man, but that's a little too far for me personally. But, looking at this for a whole bottle, too. It's not like 8 fluid ounces, half bottle or something like that. It's legit, man.
But the demand, I can see definitely the demand has gone up. I can definitely tell they've obviously got a push behind them and a lot of notoriety.
Well, there are people buying them at like couple $100 a case overseas because it's at such a high velocity of orders and everything that they can't keep them up. So obviously, that's simple supply and demand. You got everyone buying them. You rake up the price.
Rake up the price.
That's just simple supply and demand.
This red, white, and blue in here, it actually looks really good. It kind of reminds me of those bomb pops, those little popsicles.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
And there's a ton of different flavors too. And here's the one that I've actually tried personally. It's the blue raspberry. It was actually pretty good.
Oh, really?
A lot of these drinks like this are something that is good cold, or it's good only when it's cold. This is something that you can drink right off the shelf and be perfectly fine with. But the UFC is huge. Conor McGregor, I just seen that he's back for another fight.
Oh, really?
He hasn't I haven't seen a release statement over who he's fighting yet, but he's back in the MMA now.
Maybe he's fighting Logan Paul.
Who knows?
Jake or one of those, one of the Pauls. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see one of those guys get into the ring, man. These guys, they're trying to explore every avenue, whether it be boxing or entertainment, sports entertainment. Now, obviously, with a major drink, major sports drink.
Man, and everyone came out, especially with what happened overseas with Logan Paul and that video that he released, and we won't touch on that too much, but, ever since then, he has became a guy.
Yeah,
like, he's an absolute dude coming out here and just bossing everyone around, bullying everyone around in everything that he does. He is really, I can't even say a jack of all trades because he's making it all happen.
Yeah, he
big
is.
time.
He is. Whether you love him or hate him, man, you got to respect him.
Right. So we'll talk a little bit more about the Conor McGregor thing coming up. We're going to take one more quick break. It won't be as long as the last one. It'll be about a couple minutes or so. We'll say 120 seconds, 2 minutes. You're watching the Brendan Evans Show right here from Roscoe's Coffee Bar and Tap Room. Want to thank them again for letting us use the space. Really excited to be here. Hopefully we can get something long term. Never know. So let's let everyone know from home. Reach out to Roscoe's on their social media and everything. Let them know that you want to see the Brendan Evans Show live here every Saturday. That's right. So every Saturday here live from the Roscoe Coffee Bar and Tap Room. You guys can find them on social media as well under that name on Facebook. And make sure you guys get out here sometime soon. It's definitely something special. We'll be right back. Going to take a quick break. Brendan Evans alongside Trevon Cordova right here. You're watching the Brendan Evans Show on ZTVOnline.com, streaming live on local BTV.
This is Corky Miller, and you're listening to the Brendan Evans Show on ZTV.
Back here live at the Roscoe Coffee Bar and Tap Bar. So happy to be here. So grateful for Roscoe's for being able to invite us in. I am so happy that we were able to be here. You know, we got this back room. We had it packed earlier. Had a couple people had to go home. Did it a little later at night. It kind of short notice as well. So we'll plan on doing a show next weekend, 8 o'clock, same as this weekend. Got a little late start, but we'll come back better than ever, stronger next week as well. So not sure if it'll be here or not, but we'll keep you guys posted for sure on that one. So want to talk a little bit about the Sean Payton to the Denver Broncos move. And this wasn't a normal free agency signing or anything like that, because he did still have a contract with the New Orleans Saints. So he had to so the New Orleans Saints got a couple draft picks out of it. I'll let you talk a little bit about that.
So a 2023 first-round draft pick from San Francisco, officially the number 30 pick overall, and a 2024 second-round pick to New Orleans, all for Sean Payton. Again, as you mentioned earlier, he was still under contract, tried to step away from the game, and I think all the sources and everyone kind of knew he really didn't want to step away from the game, probably just wanted to take a year off and then, kind of resurge or reemerge at a better time for him. And it seems to be that he has found his opportunity with Denver. But Denver, they're coming off a pretty bad season, especially as far as what they were expecting when they picked up Wilson, who they also traded draft picks as well as I want to say 4 or 5 players just to get the Wilson, just to get Wilson in this trade, and it didn't really pan out for him. So
right, and Seattle on the other side of that didn't really do anything drastic to regroup from the quarterback position. They really put Geno Smith in there. Pete Carroll from the Seattle Seahawks really believed in Geno Smith.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thought that he put Seattle in the best position to win, and nobody expected. Everyone kind of expected 3, 4, maybe 5 wins. Nobody expected them to go play San Francisco in the first round of the playoffs. Now, ultimately losing, isn't the greatest outcome for the Seattle Seahawks, but putting themselves in the playoffs even was way more than anyone else expected.
Because let's be real, like you said, no one expected Geno Smith or Pete Carroll to be able to continue any type of consistency of winning or even an opportunity to put themselves in the playoffs. And everyone just thought, when Wilson got there was going to be kind of that same energy that Peyton Manning brought to Denver. We got a guy who's won a Super Bowl before, a guy who at one point in time was looked at to be a leader in the locker room, but you're seeing a lot of these things that are starting to emerge about Russell Wilson's character and him as a teammate. I wonder if Sean Payton can come in there. I know he's going to come in there and bring a new nutrition plan and a new atmosphere, new aura, a guy who's also won a championship. But the reality is Wilson and Sean Payton both haven't won a Super Bowl in years. Sean Payton's even longer without a Super Bowl win than Russell Wilson. And so it seems to be that Denver is really like they're betting everything. They're betting all the house on hopefully what could be for them immediate success.
Right, and you don't have to totally rebrand, right? You have to bring in someone that understands Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, I don't think he's done yet. I don't know if he has another Super Bowl run in him, but Denver obviously sees something in him that I don't there. Yeah. So he can't move around as well as he used to, but he can still get mobile in the pocket, get out of the pocket, extend plays, keep his eyes down the field, and find a target at some point, even if it's a check down 3 yards back, try to pick up at least 2 or 3, stay positive yardage. So you don't have to rebrand completely with Russell Wilson. Now, on the other side of things, where is he going to be at when he comes to Denver, right? So my only concern is he's taking a year off. He's coming in fresh from New Orleans. Drew Brees is finally retired. He's worked with a veteran quarterback before, but he's also had time to kind of groom that veteran quarterback to really where he wants him to be. They had a good understanding. Now he's coming in with a veteran quarterback that has had his entire career up in Seattle with Pete Carroll. He's had his entire career with supporting running backs. Denver doesn't have Phillip Lindsay anymore, so they don't really have that support from the backfield.
Support backfield.
So where are they going to find that support from? Because they don't have Marshawn Lynch. He doesn't have Lockett anymore. Where is he going to find this extra support from?
And I guess that's why you're paying and trading all these picks for the head coach that you are, hoping that he's able to somehow, some way, find a way to bridge that gap and bring back that winning atmosphere in Denver. But man, I'd be lying to you if I just didn't say I think they're giving up quite a bit, and even with the relationship that Sean Payton had with Drew Brees, it still took some time and some years for them to accumulate that into a Super Bowl. And so I don't really feel like Sean Payton and or Russell Wilson have years to try and bring a championship to Denver. A lot of these younger guys and younger quarterbacks are coming up, and they're actually solidifying themselves to be true contenders in this league. And as well, again, as you said, Peyton's been away from the game. Wilson's not showing consistency. So if it gets ugly next year, then I'd feel bad for some Denver fans out there, what's our future hold.
Right, and absolutely. And when you look at the big scheme of things, chemistry doesn't click like that. It doesn't come overnight for a lot of people. And when you look at quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls with multiple different coaches, the list is very, very small. Ben Roethlisberger did it with the transition from Bill Cowher over to Mike Tomlin. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady, we talked about him a lot last week in the first segment of the show. He was able to do it from Bill Belichick over to Bruce Arians. Peyton Manning had done it. List isn't very large with that. Phillip Rivers was put in a similar situation to what Russell Wilson is in right now. Mm-hmm. He came out of San Diego or Los Angeles Chargers now, and he took over at the Indianapolis Colts, and
didn't pan out.
It didn't pan out.
Same with Matt Ryan, just didn't pan out.
Right, and over the last few years of their careers, we're getting to the end of the Russell Wilson career. As much as I hate to say it, we're down the home stretch. We're closer to his retirement than we are from his draft.
Oh, absolutely.
100% believe that. And he doesn't have the supported defense that he used to have, to build on my previous point. He doesn't have that Richard Sherman. He doesn't have
that Legion of Boom.
Exactly. He doesn't have that Legion of Boom anymore. So he's going to have to keep up with people, and he's going to have to outscore people.
Yeah.
The defense is not going to be able to hold many of these teams. They do have one of the tougher schedules this year, so I'm excited and kind of intrigued to see what happens this year, because Sean Payton, Drew Brees was a great guy, great teammate. He always stuck his neck out for everyone, and then now you hear these, Marshawn Lynch and Richard Sherman's coming out and saying, Russell Wilson doesn't even give his number out to teammates. You got to contact the team to be able to contact him.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson's on a flight overseas to play in overseas games early Sunday morning, Saturday morning, and he's working out on the plane. His teammates don't even have time to rest. What kind of guy is he going to be in this Sean Payton regime in Denver?
Yeah. Oh man, that's actually going to be hard to say, and again, I'm just curious to see what happens when Sean comes in, if he's that guy who's going to be able to kind of put those reins on him, or put his, take him under his wing and say, hey, listen, I'll try to take, some of the heat and take some of the heat off of you and allow you to focus on being successful, because there was a run there where Russell Wilson was in the MVP conversation, quite a bit, and I would expect that Denver's thinking that they're going to get that same guy, but the way that they're set up and with them trading all this draft capital, they're not really giving him an opportunity for those weapons, or they're not really giving him an opportunity to have that defense, and so they're putting a lot of pressure on Russell Wilson to essentially kind of, do it himself.
Right, and Russell Wilson is really kind of the spotlight of what's going on around the NFL, and the quarterback we haven't really talked much about, and I didn't even tell you this, I'm kind of putting you on the hot seat here. What's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers? He mentioned just a couple weeks ago on the Pat McAfee show, he mentioned, telling Tom, like, hey, we got to get this together. And he was just joking at the same time, but not even a week later, Tom Brady comes back and he retires for not once, but the second straight year in a row. He retires after that. So where are we going to be with Aaron Rodgers going forward? He came back last season. A lot of turmoil there.
Things going on.
A lot of turmoil. Devontae Adams is gone now. He came back on the contingency that Green Bay would help trade him. Green Bay would put his hat in the ring and actually trade him. And, you know, is that still going to happen? Is Aaron Rodgers going to retire? Is there any interest outside of Green Bay in Aaron Rodgers? And then if he does stay in Green Bay, is Jordan Love out of Green Bay?
Ooh, wow, that's a really good question because, if anyone knows about Aaron Rodgers and his career, some of these same things happened to him in the beginning of his career with Brett Favre, unsure, is he going to retire? Is he coming back? I'm retiring. Now I'm coming back for another year. And now I'm retiring. Now and then I'm coming back. And, to the point where he ended up in Minnesota as well as New York with the Jets for a stint. But that gave Aaron Rodgers his opportunity to step in and shine and get the multiple MVPs and win his only Super Bowl that he's been able to win.
We're not going to talk about that. He definitely – we're not going to count that here on the Brendan Evans show. As far as I'm concerned, Aaron Rodgers has never beaten the Steelers in the Super Bowl, so we're just going to erase that one here.
But with that being said, I do think in the grand scheme of things, it's probably time for him to either fully commit and say, hey, I'm just going to spend the rest of my career here, whether it be the next 1 or 2 years, or say, hey, might be time for a change of scenery and allow this organization to go ahead and move forward and move on to think about, life after Aaron Rodgers. Where would you possibly see him, though? If he's not in a Green Bay Packers uniform, where do you think he would end up?
Well, of course, I would love to see him up in Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay. Really, yeah.
I don't know if I'd see him as a starter because I love Kenny Pickett. I really think we have a future with Kenny Pickett. I think Pittsburgh could seriously be a threat next year. But Las Vegas, they need a quarterback bad. And who just got traded to Las Vegas last year? Aaron Rodgers' number one receiver, Devontae Adams. It makes sense. You could also go somewhere else. All these different places are looking for a quarterback. Detroit's been decent last year.
That's very true. And they got a solid run game. Yep.
And then, of course, MCDC, Motor City, Dan Campbell. Yep. He's been solid at the coaching position. He's been a very personable guy. And you learned a lot about him watching Hard Knocks through that series last year as well, through the preseason and everything. So there's a ton of opportunities. Houston, another one.
Yeah,
there's a ton of opportunities where he could go.
Tennessee, the Titans. I think that's kind of a sleeper as well. He's kind of got a little bit of that fiery edge to him. I could see him with the run game, behind him with Derrick Henry, and Tennessee's got a pretty decent defense as well.
Right. And another thing with Aaron Rodgers is he's getting older. He's not going to be able to pass the ball 60, 80 times a game like he has been. Really, you'd like to try to limit his passes to maybe even 30, 40, 45 a game. I think you could honestly do that, going in and sending him down to Tennessee. He could probably succeed having that support of a power run offense. Where he's not the star of the show, but he can also get it done when he needs to at the same time. That's the problem with having guys like I'll put Lamar Jackson on blast for a second. When it comes down to the fourth quarter, he's probably not one of the quarterbacks that you'd want to put the ball in his hand, right? He's a mobile quarterback. He's good when it comes to the flow of the game. Now, when it comes down to crunch time, he really doesn't – I don't believe he has the arm to really make it – if he didn't have his running ability, I don't think he would last as a starter more than a few years.
Okay,
I feel like it would be a similar situation to the Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones can get out. He can move. He's got Saquon Barkley behind him, and that's why the Giants were in contention for the playoffs as long as they were, at least in my opinion. Now, if you go somewhere else, I think that he could succeed in a place like New York. Tennessee. Jets are also looking for a quarterback, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Joe Flacco ain't going to hold on much longer. Zach Wilson's becoming an issue up there. There's a ton of possibilities for Aaron Rodgers. But he doesn't have to be done.
But if I'm an older veteran guy, I'm thinking to myself, kind of like Tom Brady, if I'm leaving this place, I'm going somewhere where I'm either going to win or it's going to give me my best chance to win. I would hate to go to a place where I'm just collecting the check and then living out my last days in an unfamiliar setting and unfamiliar fans. So, well,
another place he could go. They just lost their quarterback in the last week or so. He could go down to Tampa Bay and ruffle some feathers down there.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
Tom Brady just retiring again for the second time. We've talked about that a lot tonight. There's a big possibility there. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers have played similar type of ball there. Obviously, Tom Brady playing a lot longer than Aaron Rodgers has and everything. But I honestly feel like he could come down and ruffle some feathers down in Tampa.
It's crazy you say that because I know we were speaking about Russell Wilson. Once Russell and Rodgers are out, it's kind of like the end of some of the old guys.
You throw them in there with that Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. You throw them in that group, it's like it's over.
Yeah,
that's what I grew up on.
Yeah.
It's over, basically.
Yeah, it's wild. So it's either win now or bust, and it looks like right now Denver's traded everything that they can to try to win now with Russell Wilson because they know it's not, it's not going to look, good for them in the long run to try to win with him. So, might as well try it now. So maybe you might see a team, try to take that same shot with Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely. Hey, we're going to go ahead and take one more break.
Okay.
We're going to have one more segment, which we're going to kind of flip things up a little bit. We didn't necessarily plan on doing this, but it's going to be a little bit different. So we're going to go ahead. We got a few people left in the area with us at Roscoe's Coffee Bar and Tap Room, again, live here with the Brendan Evans Show. We have a few people here with us that would like to come in and put a little bit of input in. So we've got a mic, we got a headset ready for them. We're going to let them come on with us for a little bit. We're going to take some turns back and forth. We're going to have some fun with this last part. It may not be about sports. It may be about, some of the amazing drinks that Roscoe's has here to offer, some of them awesome nachos. I had a couple bites of them before we started the show. We got started a little late, but they were awesome, man. They were pretty good. Hey, we're going to take one more break here. You're watching the Brendan Evans Show right here on ZTVOnline.com and streaming live on local BTV.
This is David Bell, manager of the Reds, and you're listening to the Brendan Evans Show on ZTV.
Back here live on the Brendan Evans Show from the Roscoe's Coffee Bar and Tap Room. Like I said, we were going to get a little bit of public comment, but a couple people left, weren't able to get it in. But we did get someone else with us, Rachel Williams. She's going to be hosting her own segment here soon. She'll be doing a segment here on ZTV, on the Indy BTV, local BTV app. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're going to kind of be doing?
I'm going to be doing current events around the Indianapolis area. Really into just getting into people's business. So
That's good. That always gets ratings.
Well, that's really what you're good at, so I've been told.
I've been getting into Brendan's business for 20 years.
Yeah, so how do you guys know each other?
I'm his mom.
Okay, there you go. All right. So is that where this is where you get it from?
Fair enough, yeah.
Okay.
I'm super excited. I just found out. So.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to it. The more we can get on BTV, the better. We love being on the streaming app there, the streaming service, I should say, rather. 75.7 on local channels, local BTV app, and then all Indy BTV services. So great being with them. We have some other stuff going on. My Team live streams do stream on there. Got some RHS games going on as well there. RHS just dropped a tough one to the Anderson Indians. Kind of fell apart in the fourth quarter. Red Devils should be able to rebound going forward, but really looking forward to what we have going on right now. The Brendan Evans Show is going to be the biggest show, hopefully.
I agree.
Yep, bigger than the Logan Paul show and not just Paul.
100%.
100%. They say it's the greatest podcast in the world, but we're here and they're not. So that says a lot.
It does.
But anyways, so I wanted to thank you for joining us, introducing yourself. We've had a lot of fun tonight. Brendan Evans alongside Trevon Cordova, defensive back coach for the Richmond Red Devils here in Richmond, Indiana.
Work in progress.
Again, we want to thank Roscoe's Coffee Bar and Tap Room so much for allowing us to come in, use the space. It's been wonderful. We've had so much fun tonight.
Yeah, this has been awesome.
And this could be even bigger. You know, Mom, you've been here all night.
I've been here all night, and the drinks are great. Food is amazing. I mean, for all ages. For all ages.
Right, and we're in kind of the brewery part where they kind of got the beers on tap and everything. But there's no age limit or anything. Obviously, you can't consume alcohol or purchase alcohol unless you're 21 here in the state of Indiana. But it's been great. Everyone's welcome back here.
Still a great family atmosphere, you know.
Yeah, I've got my 16-year-old daughter back there, and she's just having the time of her life.
And who is she with?
She's with her boyfriend.
Oh. Okay, maybe not so family friendly, but anyways, we've loved being out here at Roscoe's Coffee Bar and Tap Room. Definitely let them know on your social medias that you want to see us back here live with the Brendan Evans Show. We would love to be back here, planning on having a show every Saturday night, hopefully around the 8 o'clock hour. Make sure you guys tune in, like our social medias, The Brendan Evans Show. Find us on Twitter, @BEvansShow. Shorten it a little bit for you guys so you guys didn't have to type out a book there to find us. So definitely want to thank you guys again for tuning in. We've had so much fun and looking forward to the next week.
Only getting better.
Exactly. We'll talk a little bit more about the Super Bowl next week. The Pro Bowl is actually going to be tomorrow, so next week will be the day before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So we're definitely looking forward to it. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. You've been watching the Brendan Evans Show right here on ZTVonline.com, Indy BTV streaming on the local BTV app. Thank you guys so much once again, and you guys have a terrific evening.